This video is a walkthrough of an actual migration run with the CSw Software SharePoint Migration Tool. In the introductory video you saw a superfast run through, and in the two setting videos you've seen how it is all configured. Now we're going to step through a migration run and take a look at each step. Here's our empty SharePoint library. We fire up the SharePoint Migration Tool and select the migration run from the setup videos. Notice how we have selected to append the document number to the title to make the document name. Also, you'll remember our security SQL had some special security for 3 documents, so we're going to choose to apply it to those documents, removing the library security in the process. Before we start, we can do some checks. Does our SQL return data? And does that data look right? Looks okay to me. Also, with versions, often the proportion of documents with multiple versions is quite small. So this button gives us some documents to look for to check that versions are being migrated to SharePoint correctly. This next button is one that tends to be useful only if there are problems with user mappings. The one on the left is the user list in your ECMS, while the one on the right is the users SharePoint knows about. With a new SharePoint installation, it won't immediately know about all Active Directory users, but the tool will sort that out for you. Now it's time to migrate some documents. Click on Start. Now remember how in the settings we set it to do 6 documents at a time, just for a simple test run? And notice how it now tells us there are 17 documents including versions selected. So this first time through it's going to migrate 6 documents and their versions. And now we start. It does a few checks, loads internal parameters and starts to migrate. The first few documents are always slow, so I'll send the next 6 through. You can see from the run statistics it's doing about 2 GB an hour on my old development machine. In production we typically see about 5 GB an hour. By the way, the run statistics and the error count refresh every few documents. A feature you might find useful is the throttle. If you're doing migration runs during the day, you may find it's impacting on production systems. So you can throttle back the migration tool and keep on going. Now let's look at our migrated documents. See, the metadata's come through. Notice how the apostrophe in all's well has been removed from the name, and the rest, and its metadata's all there. And the version details are all there. Now Richard III was one of the secured documents, so let's check that out. Looks good. And all's well wasn't secured. That looks good too. Now we'll just check the logs. We did 2 runs, so if we click on one, we get the full run details on the left. And on the right we have the document details, status messages, and the SharePoint URL. Now, deleting a migration run is just a matter of selecting the run and deleting it. This will remove the documents from the logs, from SharePoint. Then you can tweak whatever needs tweaking and redo it. So, there you have it, the CSw Software SharePoint Migration Tool. Over this little series you've seen how to configure collation of all the document information and use that collation time and time again as you configure each migration run. You've also seen how the tool quietly ensures documents are only ever migrated once, and how quick and easy it is for you to test migration runs again and again until you are happy. And all this while migrating all your versions, metadata, security even, to multiple SharePoint sites, libraries, folders and content types. So, what next? Well, you can register for the free trial system, which includes the migration tool, viewer and sample databases that you've seen on these videos, so that you can quickly learn how to use it by replicating what you've seen here. And then you can connect the SQL to a copy of your own ECMS database, and very soon you'll be migrating your own documents. And of course, there's more resources on clockworksoftware.com.au, or if you've got any questions, send me an email. Happy migrating!